Hi, it's me again with Corel tips and tricks. Pretty cool design using the artistic media tool. Now, I don't know if it's going to work for the entire uh, alphabet, or if you make the letter L or circle or just a racetrack type line, but I made one that was 50 inches long. You don't have to make it that long. You can make it longer later. So we're going to take a rectangle and then we're going to make another one and make it shorter. And then I'm going to grab that four-sided cross right there, four-sided arrows, Control D, and we're going to make this one quite a bit shorter by just taking it and just shrinking it down. Now what we're going to do is Control D and make a duplicate and put that. You need to make sure you get the four-sided. So there you have so many. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take this and Control D. It'd really be smarter if you grouped it together, but we don't want them stacked like that, so we're going to mirror them. We're actually going to do 4 this time. Nah, you know what, 3 is good enough. Now, if I would have grouped them, I would have had a better chance of doing this in case I mess up. Now, we don't want that one like that, so we're going to mirror the back. Now, just take some random colors, and I'm not telling you how to do this, but change your artistic ability will show up on something like this. We're going to do some colors. We're going to do some designs. Try to make as many colors as you can, I would think, and not have any like an orange too close to a red. Kind of separate them, and I'm going to do like one more. We don't have that blue. Now I'm going to take some designs, and I'm going to let's take some circles. I'm going to hit F4 on the keyboard to bring that back. I'm going to just take an ellipse. Well, way too big. Make it smaller by holding down the control button. I'm going to fill it in, but I want to take away the line. Then I'm going to Control D, and I'm just going to manually move it over. And then I'm going to Control D a couple of times. You want it roughly to fit in that spot, and it's going to, because we can reduce it. And you could, just Control button and Control button, make duplicates. Let's group these together, and we can reduce it to kind of fit in that spot. Now, if we shrink it, it's going to be ovals instead of circles, but that's not a problem. So you could do those, you could do lines, just take a 2-point line. I always mess up. Start moving, then hold down your control button. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it something other than a hairline, and I'm going to make it rounded cornered by hitting F12 on the keyboard and pick rounded corners. I think it'll add to it. Now Control D, move it over, then Control D to your heart's content. I'm going to have it fit in the top one, so I need a couple more. Anyway, what I would strongly suggest is convert them to a curve now. We don't want them to be, or convert the outline to an object, because the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to get rid of all these black lines here in just a second. That doesn't look too bad. Now I'm going to make another one. I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to make it black. And then I'm going to Control D. That's the only thing I don't like about Control D. And I did not group them. I thought I grouped these together. So it's going to be a little trick. Well, I want to get rid of that line in a second anyway. Whenever you do this, Control G to group it. And then let's turn it red. And let's Control D to make a duplicate. And let's mirror them the other way. Now we got like a cross pattern. That might be too thick, but you'll get the idea. You could take little squares, and it might be easier to do it on the block. So I'm going to take away the outline, and then I'm going to just hit the plus key on the keyboard and move it over, and then I'm going to Control D. See, this way we don't have to squish it if we do it like that. We'll move it over just a hair. And you don't have to have them. So I'm going to Control G to group this group, Control D to duplicate it. And you don't have to be straight up and down. We could go like this. And we're going to probably get rid of those last ones. Control G to group it and put it straight down. We're a little bit big. Sometimes my Control D just doesn't seem to work. Or maybe because I'm looking too much at the screen and not at the keyboard. So now we're going to group all these together, Control G, and we're going to make it a little bit smaller. And I could get rid of those other little blocks. I need to change my nudge factor to something like 0.01 so I can nudge this minutely. And see, I got that red box, which we're going to get rid of anyway. Let me just put it back. Go up to Object. And maybe this is the disadvantage of having that. Is I want to get rid of those lines. And that's why I converted those other lines to a curve. And for the video, I'm just going to make one more color. And you can also put colors with lines. You know, I don't like that color. We don't have, well, let's use brown just for grins. Can't hardly even see them. So brown ain't going to work. Tell you what, we got that color picked. Hold down the control button and let's click on yellow a couple of times. Okay, you've got it done. I'm going to take away all the outline. And see, by doing that, I didn't converted these to curves, so they're not messing up. Then, most important, group it together. Go over to your artistic media tool, pick on the brush, and go right here to save. It's a little disc looking thing. I'm just going to call it 123R. Doesn't matter really what you call it unless you're going to reference it later. Now it is 13 inches long. So I really shouldn't have saved it yet. I'm going to make this thing 15 inches. Okay. And I'll save it here again in a second, but I need to get an ellipse. And to figure out the length of the ellipse, I need to go to Object and convert it to a curve. Then I go up to Windows and Dockers and Properties. And since it's a curve, this little line will show up. And this is 26 inches. I can't remember what length I made this. Okay, it's 15. Let's make it 30. So we can just change our nudge factor to 15, grab that, hit the plus key and move it over. But then I would mirror it the opposite direction. And then I'm going to group that together. So that's 30 inches. Let's make this 30. I'm just going to hold down the control button. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. You can overlap, but if you're ever doing letters or something, and when you get that close, you're close, but you can go right here and go 15, 115.2. And it, well, I guess not that, 0.2. See, I made it 30.15, which is great. Now take your artistic media tool, and we need to save it again because we made it longer. So get the brush stroke, save it. I'm just going to call it 123W. That doesn't really matter. Then your brush stroke's going to come back and just hit on that line. Now it doesn't show up till you go up or down. Now that's way too thin, so you could go up and make it thicker. And this is where maybe more of those graphics would maybe look, you know, that looks pretty cool. I got a little line right there that's not supposed to be there. But you could do anything with this. Let's just, let's draw a freehand tool and let's go, see, it's already a curve. See, it's 48, so let's bring it in. 29.6, that's pretty close, but we could go 68.2 and get it dead on the money or close enough. And because that was our last tool. We just have to go back to artistic media tool, click on it, and then go down. Now it doesn't do good on real sharp turns. I just typed in, well, evidently it's still thin. Let's type in 1. Let's type in 2. And see it, well, it did pretty good on that sharp turn, but that's pretty unique. You know, if you were going to do a lot of stuff. Anyway, I hope that gave you an idea or two, and thank you for watching.